So I got married back in 2020. I have been a middle school and high school history teacher 2018 through our most recent PCS, which was this past June. We moved to San Diego. So I've taught in Virginia and then Maryland. And since we've relocated to San Diego, I have had zero luck finding a job. So that made me want to pivot into something else that would be more transferable with our moves. So I'm getting my master's in instructional design and education technology for both K through 12 and adult learning, with the goal of being a training coordinator, an instructional designer, learning specialist, curriculum, right? One of those fields, hopefully in a corporate setting. I know degree wise, the education route would be better, but I'm hoping that the corporate setting would be way more flexible in terms of hopefully being remote to be able to go with me wherever we end up next. Because I see a lot of postings for hourly, but I mean, when they post jobs for $12 an hour with somebody with 2 bachelors and I'm working on my master's, to me, that's like insulting almost, you know? And not that I wouldn't take one of those jobs, it's just, I went to school, I put in the work, I want the job that reflects that. So this is kind of something I've recently been very passionate and, boisterous about. For me, I am a very career-driven person. I've worked a lot of jobs, very hard to get where I was. And in the teacher aspect, I have 3 state licensures. And to constantly be moving state to state and having to do a new teacher certificate for each state when the requirements are all different, it's extremely difficult. And even just that fact of, since we've moved to San Diego, I've been forced into a stay-at-home mom position that I've never had a desire to do. And it's caused me to be resentful. And I think that ties to the fact that, most employers look at being a military spouse as something that's negative, where I've had all these great experiences, as a spouse in the workforce, but then also previously. And I feel like all that's being disregarded. So it kind of is an attack on my personality in a sense and my goals, towards my careers. So it just having companies that would be more willing to accept the lifestyle and understand that, moving doesn't have to be a bad thing. If they were, willing or established in other states where it makes that stability better to move with you for a job, like, I think that would alleviate a lot of stress off of a lot of families. So since our relocation, it gave me the opportunity to be able to pursue my master's, but I also did that out of the financial need. Because my undergrad, I have high student loans, and without me working and bringing in a salary, it makes it impossible to pay those. So I had to do the forbearance, like financial hardship, deferment stuff on those. And with me being in my master's program, it's a way to pause my payments when you're in school. And so we had to do that to take that route. And so over the last few months, the other factor to help us financially in Maryland, as a military spouse, you do qualify for unemployment. So I had to take that route to be able to support us, to get us through the last few months. And that's been, that was a fight, a very big fight to have to get that. We're in military housing right now in California, which is a first for us. And because they take all of the BAH, that's another factor of the money that, we no longer see or have. So it is definitely a huge financial strain, which that also, emotionally affects our marriage as well. Again, with the resentment fact of it, but then also the financial burden itself. My husband comes from a place where he grew up really bad household, and, they were extremely poor. And so money is a big thing for him, a big security blanket, and him having to try and compensate for the loss of my salary is huge. And it takes an emotional hit on him. So it's definitely very stressful and, gets to be a lot. And again, because I'm so career driven, it's an internal battle with myself, which definitely, spewed out into our marriage, and we got to a really rocky place and, almost called it quits. And we have 2 young children together, 3 and 18 months. So, I mean, that's hard. It's not like we're in a relationship that we could just walk away, because of factors like that, or having to be put in that position, we considered me moving back home with my parents because I'd have, the help with the kids, but then also the ability to find a job a lot faster than I do out here. But then that's not fair to him being separated from the kids either, or myself. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into, you know, having to constantly move as a spouse.